Hello my Mercurial mercenaries. This is a video I wasn't intending to make. In fact, I wasn't intending to do a video for a fair while, but I recently put out a video, ostensibly a review of the Band-Maid album, World Domination, and it caused a little bit of nonsense in the comments section, which I thought, it's a tricky one for me, because what happens is, when you guys comment on my videos, it sends a notification to my phone. So wherever I am in the world, I can quickly respond to it. And in over 650 odd videos, that's the way it's always been. Most of the time there wasn't many people commenting, so it wasn't too much of a deal. This was the first time ever that I finally switched that notification off on my phone. I just couldn't handle some of the nonsense. First of all, I question what people out there understand by the term review. When I was growing up, there was no YouTube. Yeah, because I'm a middle-aged wanker or whatever. But I'd read articles in magazines, reviews in magazines, be it Kerrang, Metal Hammer, a bit later Enemy, Melody Maker. I'd read the written word, and from what the author said, I'd decide whether I wanted to go and buy that album or not. What it seems today is people are kind of wanting their own feelings on an album to be confirmed. So people in general watch reviews having already listened to the album. So you'll find that if you post a review of a certain band, really only the fans of that band are going to watch it. So they already know whether they like it or not. So that aspect of the review is redundant. It's just people wanting to make sure, I think, that you, the reviewer, agrees with them. So if you don't like an album, you'll watch a review of said album and hope that the reviewer doesn't like it too, so you can feel solidarity. And if you do like the album, you want to make sure that the reviewer agrees exactly with why you like that album. And that's not everybody. And on my Discover series, where I just put a record on and just talk over it, that hasn't been too much of a problem. There's been a few. You've always had the people going, can't you just shut up? Can't you just shut up and listen to the music? But just recently, I've been trying to cut down the length of my videos, because they're always so long, aren't they? People say, I would watch your Mercurial number 6, but I haven't got a lifetime. So I thought, do you know what? I can do 7-minute videos. So I was trying to do that. And I thought I'd listen to the Band-Maid album, and I listened to it a fair number of times. First listen, honestly, muddy production, kind of 80s, 90s throwback metal music. I was a bit, not sure here, but repeated listens, I ended up thinking it's actually a really solid album by a group of girls who can really play, and there's some catchy songs there, and it actually is worthy. It's worthy of your time. But then we move to the comments section. I didn't think this was particularly controversial. I mean, sometimes if I say, I haven't really done any reviews yet, but if I was to say an album was bad, I could expect that people would probably want to. Every band has a fan base, and fan bases will feel aggrieved. It's like the Greta Van Fleet review I put out once, where, I said it was a reasonable enough album. I just said that, honestly, it just sounds like Led Zeppelin. And I'd want a bit more than that. And I've already got Led Zeppelin albums to listen to. And of course, the problem with that review is then you get in the comment section people just coming back at you going, well, it doesn't sound like Led Zeppelin. It doesn't. It doesn't. And then you sit back and you think, well, hang on. No, it does. It really does sound like Led Zeppelin. And I go, no, it doesn't. It sounds far more like Yes and Rush than Led Zeppelin. And you go, well, okay, there's aspects of Yes and Rush there. I'll give you that. But it sounds like Led Zeppelin. And you get into an almighty, but I didn't even have to turn my notifications off for Greta Van Fleet. Band-Maid was a weird one. I put out, and I haven't rewatched the video. Perhaps I should before doing this. I mean, I'm not doing myself any favours here. But I basically liked the album, and I gave it a recommended. But the comment section became an almighty cesspit, really. Very strange. And I don't really watch reviews myself. I occasionally watch the Needle Drops, Anthony Fantano, occasionally. And what I noticed from the big channels, this isn't a big channel, this is another thing. This is a hobby. This is my house. This channel is my house. You don't come into my house and call me a dick. You know, you don't do that. It's not very polite, is it? But I go to other channels, the big channels, and the people on those channels don't respond to any comments. None. They just don't respond. So there could be 10,000 comments there, and there might be like one response, and everyone's happy with that. But what I find on my channel is I feel like so far up till now we've been a bit of a community here, the Mercurial number 6 community, Mercurial mercenaries and whatever. So I felt like we're kind of friends, and I've been responding to most comments, and we've always got along. And what I quite like is the fact that a video becomes a point of like a lift off. So I do a video, and that causes us to have discussions in the comment sections about related matters, and we could disagree. We've disagreed. So many of my mercenaries out there know that we disagree on. Some of us disagree on everything, and we've had quite a good time disagreeing because it's pretty good natured. So I put the Band-Maid thing out there, and first of all, someone who disagrees with me a lot. But I've always quite liked the disagreement in some respect, said that the only reason that I liked Band-Maid, and I'm paraphrasing here, but the only reason I like Band-Maid is because they are girls dressed up as maids. And I had some sort of sexual Japanese maid fetish. And that is paraphrasing, because he didn't really mean it like that. He was suggesting that it's a corporate thing. It's a marketing man's strategy. What will sell? Cute girls dressed in kind of fetishized, or whatever, outfits to appeal to middle-aged men. And when he wrote this, my first response was kind of, yeah, I see that. But then there's the thing of, is that a bad thing? It's a tricky one. Some of my favourite bands are completely manufactured in time. Even up recently, I liked Girls Aloud. Some really great songs, Britney Spears. Some of these sort of hit factories, groups of people who sit and just they cut to the essence of what people want to hear, and it's quite contrived, and it's the sort of thing that I would ordinarily kind of rebel against. But I also know a good song when I hear a good song. So he was saying that he hates the fact that people are falling for this contrived Japanese maid nonsense. And I just had to take issue with that. I think he's right, and I think the other people in the comment sections are a bit off here. The reason that people probably gave Band-Maid a chance in the first place, and I think you're kidding yourself if you don't agree here. Hey, come back at me in this comment section. I can't win. Is because they're cute girls dressed as maids, and you see the photograph or whatever, or someone tells you about them, and you go, "Oh, that's interesting." Come on. And let's make it clear now. These are women in their late 20s. And then someone recently put a comment saying, "How is it different?" And in fact, they did it quite negatively, but they said, "How is it different to Kiss or Gwar or Man of War or whatever? Men who dress up, or Alice Cooper or whatever, dressing up on stage as part of a stage show." And I would agree with that. However, then they then said Band-Maid are superior to all of that, and that's where I've got, which I'll come on to in a minute, my issues with liking one band by putting all other bands down to claim that your band is the superior one. That's the problem with a fan base. But so I was having this issue, and I said, look, honestly, I understand. However, I watched one video by this band, and I did a reaction to it, and the long-term viewers of his channel will remember it. And I just listened to this album. I bought the CD because it's, funny enough, it's not on my streaming service. So this band haven't even broke through that far yet, which is a bit odd. I ripped it to my phone, listened to it with headphones, listened to it on the computer, listened to it around the house. Never watched anything, just went by the music. So at that point, and this was the argument I was trying to have with him, at that point, I am just listening to the band, and I've taken some of his argument away, the Japanese girls dressed as maids away. The commercial aspect, that's still there. At the end of the day, I'm categorising it as pop, rock, metal, catchy choruses, Alice Cooper, shout-along sections. And he was very, very insistent that I shouldn't be listening to this band. And that I was a middle-aged wanker for doing so. And I just said, perhaps he's got his priorities wrong, or he's missed the point, or whatever. I said, I used this particular word, I don't want to paraphrase too much. I think perhaps he was prejudiced against manufactured. The idea that, yes, something can be created in the boardroom by a bunch of Simon Cowells, but if the end result is still good, then, I don't know, we could argue about that all day. But he took offence anyway. He took offence and he disappeared. And he won't be watching this because he's quite, I would assume he's quite a principled guy. If he does watch this, I think sometimes the intent behind the words is lost. And you think, when you read a comment, you think someone's like furiously typing angrily back at you, and not the case. Not the case at all, mate. But, so that's the side of things that, where you say you like an album, and then there's detractors who don't like it. But the odd thing here was that the majority of nonsense that came my way was from people who like Band-Maid, the album that I like. And there was someone who did call me a dick in my own house. So I'm afraid, offity, you fuckity fuck. And he said something like, call this a review? You're a piece of shit, you don't know what you're doing. A review? You should be talking about melody and harmony and rhythms and time signatures. And I'm thinking, is that what we've got to? Is that what people think a review of music is? Like something from a music school? I'm not sure if I want to hear any of that. Sometimes those who watch this channel will know that I do an actual series where I talk about music theory in some respects regards my own work. I can go there a little bit, but on the whole, I think albums are about feeling. You want to know how I felt, what I thought. So I think we're at loggerheads about what a review actually is. I don't particularly care about whether something's harmonised in fifths or sevenths, all that kind of crap. Really, what I want to know is, if I've never heard this album before, what does it sound like roughly? Just give me an idea. And I gave you an idea. I said, well, it's kind of metally, rocky music. Sounds a little bit like Chinese democracy kind of era, 90s type, 2000s type era. Of course, what happens then is you get people going, hang on a second here. You mentioned Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry, but this album is infinitely superior to this album. This album here doesn't hold a candle. And I think, hang on a second, what? And I put this in the comments. I said, I can't be associated with this absolute nonsense. You're saying that, I mean, this might well be a very good album. It is a good album. But I think give it 10 years or so and come back and revisit it, because this is probably one of the greatest debut albums in history. But no, just throw away comment. No, this is much better. This girl can sing much better than Axl Rose. It's much better. I mean, whatever. You're allowed to believe what you want, but not necessarily write it in my comments section, because like I say, this is my house. Do you know what I mean? And then I made a comment, and I should rewatch the video to see exactly what I said. But listening to the album, the guitar solos reminded me very much throughout the album of Iron Maiden solos, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith specifically. And someone who I would assume has never listened to any Iron Maiden solos in their life, because that's the only reason you could argue with me on this, says no, Band-Maid are wholly original. The guitar, how dare you diss the guitar player by saying that she plays the guitar like Adrian Smith or Dave Murray? And it's like, show me specific examples. And it's like, hang on a second, this is my review. I'm telling you what I feel about the music and what I think. And to me, it sounds like Iron Maiden in places, along with loads of other bands. Just a strange one. And then so I'm having this argument about, I mean, it's an unnecessary argument about whether or not the guitars on this album sound like Iron Maiden. I mean, other people start chipping in, saying ridiculous things like, oh, I see he mentioned Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden. Well, those two bands are terrible. Band-Maid is brilliant, and Iron Maiden and Guns N' Roses are terrible. And the singer of Band-Maid is infinitely superior to Bruce Dickinson, the singer of Iron Maiden. And the drummer of Band-Maid, who's a decent drummer, is infinitely... And Nico McBrain at Iron Maiden isn't fit to wipe her arse. Nico McBrain out of Iron Maiden. Oh my God. One of the greatest heavy metal drummers of all time. And Bruce Dickinson, one of the greatest singers of all time. And then it got a little bit like, as if I'm the #1 Iron Maiden fan in the world. And I don't know how it got to that point where it seems like we were battling Band-Maid against Iron Maiden. And I said, look, it's more about influences. There's nothing wrong with being influenced by Iron Maiden. There's nothing wrong with playing in the style of Iron Maiden in places on your album. Nothing wrong at all. And then we have this kind of people who they're watching my review of the band, but they've obviously read all there is to read and they've listened to all there is to listen to. I'm not quite sure what they're even doing here. And they're quoting interviews where they say, oh, no, so-and-so out of Band-Maid says that Coldplay is her inspiration. And I'm thinking, well, that may well be the case, but this does not sound like Coldplay. It sounds like Iron Maiden. So, and this is weird, right? Because I didn't intend to do a video like this, and this comes across as a little bit catty, and it's not supposed to. This is still supposed to be conversational. But it's just hard to put all this into a comment. And it's not, and I may well not do any more reviews because I can see that this is a strange situation to be in. If I do another review, I'd have to question why I'm doing it, for a start. Certainly have to question why I'm doing it. And I certainly won't reply to any comments because I can see that I should just let things go. Because I'm so used to having Mercurial mercenaries rather than people... I mean, people are commenting on these videos, the most recent sort of 7-minute videos I've done, and they've got no background to my story at all. They're quoting things like, someone said, who are you to be reviewing music? Who do you think... I think I said something... what did they pick me up on? It was the person who said that I should be doing melody and harmony and rhythm and stuff. Oh yeah, the bit of the video where I said there's a few things I'd change. There's a few things I'd change on this album to make it a bit better. I said, who the hell do you think you are? And I was like, well, I'm the person who just said there's some things I would change on this album to make it better. That's who I think I am. I'm me. Who are you? And it's that kind of thing. And it's quite tricky. It's quite tricky. Don't get me wrong, lots of sensible comments as well. And it's not all bad. It's just that I understand. I've got to not respond to comments. Because there was one particular thread, and you can read it, it's on there. And it's probably the longest thread on any video I've ever done in 650 odd videos. Where it's a kind of argument about, I can't remember what it was about. It's a kind of argument about whether the guitar solos sound like Iron Maiden or not. That's the long and short of it. It's ridiculous. And the fact that whenever I say that this band sounds like somebody else, no they don't. They are technically as good as Rush. These are the best musicians in the world today, best songwriters. They are experts on song structure, and they should basically be running a course where they teach every other musician in the world how to play. And it's just odd, because I think it's like, it's fandom gone mad. This is a good album, and from what I've heard, not seen, and I think if I see them, I think I'm going to like them even more. But from what I've heard, yeah, they are fantastic players. But what I'm hearing is the same kind of arguments I heard at school with girls who liked New Kids on the Block, or later on, people who like Take That fighting against people who liked E17, or Bros, or all the sort of nonsense I had when the sort of nonsense Bill got when he said that he didn't like the 1975. Holy shit. I think, and maybe I was there as well, maybe there was a time in my life, and I can't really remember because I'm so old, where I liked bands, and maybe I was properly offended if someone slagged the band, even though I didn't slag the band off. But maybe because you feel possessive and protective. And then I always associate those people, they must be young then. And I made a comment to somebody, I said, I guarantee you're born after the year 2000, because you've taken Band-Maid so close here and like protecting them like it's a little dragon. And they come back and go, no, I was born in the 80s. And I'm like, well, I don't really get it. So perhaps it's like a period over time. But now I've got to the point where I can kind of stand back and appreciate everything, or not appreciate everything, as the case may be. So if I get like one of my favourite bands like Pulp, and you were to say to me, Jarvis Cocker can't sing, I'd probably go, I mean, probably not, but I like the sound of his voice. I mean, whatever. Or you say to me, you don't like Iron Maiden, and I'd be like, well, I can understand that. They're not for everybody. They're a band that only really use dan 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 on every song, and they've done some stinkers of albums over the years. But overall, and they're a band that I kind of abandoned and came back to. The whole story of Iron Maiden's on this channel over multiple hours. But overall, I like the band. Good band. So, but you saying you don't like them doesn't offend me. If you think it offends me, it doesn't offend me. What offends me is musical naivety and ignorance. Ignorance in a way. If I tell you that I think something sounds like Iron Maiden, I'm not lying. It's what I think. Now, does me thinking it make it true? It's my truth. If you don't agree, do you need to fight me on it? I don't know. Do you need to fight me on it? Is it that important? Someone was trying to make me say that, no, sorry, I've got it all wrong. A Band-Maid, sorry. Oh, Tommy, I'm sorry, I got it all wrong. Band-Maid sound nothing like Iron Maiden, but they do. I've done something here. This is just for one person, really, but, you know, this is unnecessary. I didn't have to do this, but whatever. And funnily enough, yeah, I mean, just whatever. Yeah, because I'm obviously an Iron Maiden fanboy. Let me put my headphones on, right? Just look what I've done here, right? I have mapped out some sections of Band-Maid's music across some buttons here, okay? From this album, World Domination. And, for example, now you need to be an Iron Maiden fan to get this. But, for example, if I was to press this button up here, and I've got to be careful with copyright reasons, so I'm only going to play little bits and pieces. But while I play this button here, if you imagine this album cover, right, listen to this, all right? Now we can get into disagreements. Yes, that was Band-Maid. But to me, it sounds just like Peace of Mind era Iron Maiden. And another bit. Sort of Rime in the Ancient Mariner era. Probably a bit more recent Iron Maiden. The point being, you're trying to make me quote a specific part of a song that sounds like an Iron Maiden solo. I'm telling you that all of this could be Iron Maiden. I can just imagine Bruce Dickinson walking around on the stage. At this point he's going like that with his arms to the crowd. Come on, Long Beach! There we go, it's tapping. Dave Murray's tapping. I mean, what? It's ridiculous. This is just. It's a point I shouldn't have to prove. I'm not. Again, I'm probably going to attract negative comments again here. I am not slagging off Band-Maid. I liked these parts of the songs because I've got a history with this kind of music. So the idea of a throwback to this and a comeback of this in the modern day with new, fresh youngsters playing music to people who might not have ever heard Iron Maiden before, to me, that's a positive. That's why I like this. And if people listen to this and hear me say that it sounds a bit like Iron Maiden and then go and listen to Iron Maiden, it's quizzing all round. I don't really get it. But when it comes to this talk about Band-Maid being so original, look, I put this album on, right? And one of the first things I heard was a song called Domination, right? And it reminded me of a guitar solo. Now, I mistakenly thought it was Iron Maiden just as I was listening to it. Turns out it's not. Turns out it's actually Wolfsbane, a song called Tough as Steel. I'm not slagging him off, just talking. Funny enough, the singer of Wolfsbane went on to be the singer of Iron Maiden. But here it is, right? Listen to this. I mean, I shouldn't have to do this, right? But well, listen, this bit here. Right? That is Band-Maid, all right? And Domination. Right, this is Wolfsbane, right? Right, Band-Maid, Wolfsbane. Band-Maid, Wolfsbane. Band-Maid, Wolfsbane. I mean, this isn't a court case. The girl who played that might never have heard of Wolfsbane. But I heard it and it reminded me of Wolfsbane. So that's what I'm saying. And now you'll come back at me and say, well, she's never been influenced by Wolfsbane and we can't hear that. Well, I don't care that you can't hear it. You clicked on my review and I'm telling you that it all sounds like Iron Maiden. Oh, I forget, that's not Iron Maiden. That is... I'm forgetting my own thing now. That's not Iron Maiden. I've got to remind myself. This isn't Iron Maiden. This is Band-Maid, right? But it reminds me... I mean, what more do you want, for God's sake? I'm not slagging them off. This isn't a court case. You know, specific parts, the style of playing, that's tapping style. That's tapping style. Alive or Dead is very much Iron Maiden-y. Sounds different because this is Iron Maiden, but listen to the emphasis on the taps. Right? It's that specific emphasis. And then Moonchild by Iron Maiden. Alive or Dead by Band-Maid. Moonchild by Iron Maiden. I mean, originality. It's whatever you want it to be. Right. I'll stop it there because it sounds like I'm having a go. And I'm not. I like this album. I just found the comments are naive and it kind of infuriated me. And honestly, it takes a lot to infuriate me. And I understand that this video might get me people unsubscribing from me. I'm not sure why. I'm speaking my truth. I put a video out there. It's a hobby. And when you say to me, well, why are you doing it then? If you can't take it, it's a tricky one. I'm not sure. I've never been sure why I do this. All that's happened is that I've got my little studio. I make my videos. I put them out there. And over the years, I've attracted people who just like to hear bollocks being spoken. And I think the problem is when people just, and it happens, people use the search on YouTube and they find that someone's put a Band-Maid review out there and they'll watch it. And I think my comment section isn't a place for free speech. Don't be under any illusions there. It's not a place for free speech. It's not. You don't come into my house and call me a dick to my face. You can come in and talk with me and you can come in and argue with me. I quite like arguing, but it's like there comes a point where when I say to you, what are we arguing about? And I genuinely can't work it out. It's like we get to a point where I think something's white and you think it's red. And then that's kind of, just leave it really. I mean, we go on and on and on and on. But the upshot of it is that there are genuinely, I think, people out there who believe that Band-Maid's World Domination is better than these albums. You know, better than these albums. Probably better than any of the albums I've got around me here. And I had people saying in the comments, really aggrieved that I mentioned that I could hear similarities to Iron Maiden. I was surprised by that, because I thought Iron Maiden were a well-liked band in the rock world. I can now kind of get the gist that they're really not. Surprising to me. But people were saying, you're wrong, Mercurial number 6. I can hear more yes on World Domination than I can hear Iron Maiden. And I'm thinking, whoa, okay, interesting. I think I wouldn't necessarily argue that you can't hear yes there, because I think your truth is your truth. And you saying that you can hear that is the same as me saying I can hear what I can hear. And we don't need to get into a pissing match over it. I think my main point here has been that you can like a band without having to put down all other bands to put your band on a pedestal. And maybe that is a thing that comes of age. Maybe I'm being pretentious. I'm not sure. But it's just weird how this video got to the point where it wasn't that bad. If you read through the comments section, which is still there, the ones I haven't, if you read through the comments section, it's mainly good. It's just there's just some oddities there. And like I say, the first conversation I had about whether this is a corporate marketing scam and the whole fetish thing and the fact that only middle-aged blokes should feel ashamed of themselves for liking fetishized, oh for fuck's sake, fetish outfit, costumed Japanese girls. And it's kind of, I just don't think that's particularly helpful when you're talking about, you know, women, not girls, who can play guitar better than most blokes I've ever met in my life and play drums better than most blokes. And I'm not sure why the distinction about the outfits. Are they supposed to dress non-sexy? I was trying to say to him, I think he probably deleted his comment because I can't find it now. But I was trying to say the last time I think I bought any female bands was like L7 and Garbage and things in the kind of grunge era. So this is actually refreshing. I think we should be celebrating this. But it just got out of hand, and he was like, well, you know, I'm not going to make any further comment. I'm unsubscribing from you and I'll never be back. And I was like, well, that's why I just had to do that to him, because what a strange thing to do. The most antagonistic bloke as well. ended up just... But anyway, there's a chance he's watching this, I suppose, and he'll think that I'm having a go at him all over again. I was never having a go at you in the first place. There you go. That's kind of a time waster, and I hope it came across like I was quite angry there, but I'm just a little bit... I said it in another comment, I'm just a little bit fed up. And yeah, it's tied in with not quite knowing what my purpose is here. I thought people wanted shorter videos, and then when I do a shorter video, it seems that I can't... 7 minutes isn't quite enough to get the nuance. You know what I mean? And then people come across to the channel and they see that video and they think that, you know, who's this guy just spout? But the problem is, back to my original point, everyone who chooses to watch these reviews has already listened to the bloody albums. You don't need to hear what I think, because you already know whether you like it or not. It's a tricky one. And when you say, well, why did you listen to it in the first place? I did it because it was a viewer recommendation. Probably recommended by the person I had the argument with, I don't know. Anyway, this is probably the last video for a while, because whatever. Thank you. Over. Yeah, over and